Hey everybody, it's your boy, Eduardo Jackson, CEO, founder, creator of the CinemaDraft game, coming to you with a different podcast today. We will not be having any guests today. It's just going to be me. It's a solo pod. It's been a while since I did one like that. Kind of a just the shot list pod, but I also want to get on wax some of some of what I've been watching as usual, but also really the meat of this podcast is going to be the origins of CinemaDraft. No notes, no rundown, just off the top of the dome, giving a bit of an oral history of how we got to where we are right now. I thought it might interest some. If not, just do what you guys do, skip it to the timestamp with the shot list, and we'll be on our way. Also, I will be making a call sheet in real time, just to get a feel of what's going on in the box office weekend. Some big openers that should inject a little bit more unpredictability in the box office. So looking forward to sharing that with you guys. And yeah, and so basically, real quick, what I'm watching. It's I wouldn't say it's been kind of slow, but nothing terribly exciting. I already covered Home Again on the previous podcast. I have started watching Fortitude. That will please G Nice. It's an interesting show. Actually, let me see if I can bring it up real quick. It's basically set in the, I guess, the Arctic Circle or something, in Norwegian's part of the Arctic Circle, and that whole type of thing we were talking about on the podcast last week about how setting plays a character. I'm really big into those. Let me share a screen about this real quick. Is this one? There we go. And it's interesting that I'm only on season one. I'm only 4 episodes into season one. I actually don't want to go through these photos too much because I'm not too far into it. I don't really know what I'm watching quite yet. There's a lot of so basically the premise behind the show is that there's a lot of it's an Arctic Circle Norwegian town. It's mostly like a science-based facility or town or whatever. Everything's based around the research lab, and you've got like, I don't know, a dozen or 2 dozen different nationalities up there. So it's kind of hard to follow a little bit because there's so many different competing accents. The one thing, so I think that's from season 2. The one thing that is kind of cool is, or one thing that I am kind of able to latch onto is the guy who plays, what is it? All these people are in like the second season. I don't even know what I'm watching. All right, so anyways, the guy who plays Beric Dondarrion from Game of Thrones, the guy with the flaming sword in season 7, he's kind of like the lead, at least in the first season so far. And it's a murder mystery, which is kind of cool. Murder mysteries are cool. I'm here for that. But I don't know what's going on that much per se. A lot of crisscrossing relationships. Everyone's sleeping with everyone. That's kind of interesting and very messy, So a lot of drama right there. As one character says, I think either in the pilot or the second episode, yeah, well, it's it's cold. You get close. It's just what it is. You're up there. You're screwing around. Anyways, it's interesting so far. I'm stay with it. There's only 2 seasons, I believe, and unlike several of these British shows, it's like a 12-episode first season, so it's something you can kind of sink your teeth into. An hour long or 47, 48 minutes-ish, so it's kind of cool. So that's the first thing I'm watching. Other thing I'm watching, what else am I really watching? Because we're in this weird week and a half dead zone, which is about to start ending. Usually, back when I was a kid, the fall TV season used to kick into full gear, like really soon, like off the top of the bat. Once you hit September, now it's like super delayed to like late September. Most of the shows I want to watch are debuting in like October. But this week, but one show that did end last Wednesday, or at least for their what they call it, their summer finale, I guess, was Suits. And that is my show, man. They keep kicking. I mean, they haven't been renewed for season 8 yet. I guess all the main players' contracts are up after this season. But to hear the showrunner and creator Aaron Korsh tell it. He wants to come back for season 8, and I just love this show, man. I mean, it never gets boring. There's so much attitude, and it seems like USA has found its machismo button because they're letting them cuss. Like, I mean, they're saying shit. They're bleeping out fuckers and motherfuckers. It's crazy. It's just it's a machine now. They've celebrated their 100th episode, during which not Neil Patrick Harris. Why do I call him Neil Patrick Harris? Sorry, Patrick J. Adams, who plays Mike, the young whiz kid, hotshot, wasn't a lawyer, now is a lawyer. He directed that episode. He's directed a handful of episodes over the life of the series. And Gina Torres, man, Jessica Pearson, who's just an icon of style and power and not taking no bullshit. She's going to spin off into her own show at the end of the full season finale. So what they do is they like to do, I think it's, is it 12? I think they do 10 over the course of summer, and then they do like a back 6. So you get like a 16, and those usually go on in the winter. So you're never too far off of getting your dose of Suits. It's kind of interesting. I kind of wonder what that production schedule is like. I wonder if they shoot them all like 16 in a row, or if they do 10, give the actors a break, and then come back for the last 6. I don't know. That'd be interesting to find out. They film in Toronto. They're old hands at this. Like I said, this is season 7. It's just a really excellent show. The writing is always sharp. You're really invested in the characters at this point. And their summer finale, had a nice cliffhanger. Donna gave Harvey a really big kiss. This is Donna, and Donna is just like, I mean, talk about, just the rise of the assistant. She went from being his know-it-all secretary to chief. What was it? Not chief financial officer. Chief operations officer, COO of of Pearson Spectre Lit, which is now about to be just Spectre Lit and Lewis Lit. I mean, all these characters, you're really invested at this point. 7 seasons, it's a great show. Yes, there are 100 episodes, but if you want to get into Suits, I highly recommend it. I believe it is on Netflix, so definitely check that out. And then the other thing I'm playing, actually not even playing, or I'm not really watching, but I'm playing, is NBA 2K. NBA 2K18 came out, and as the kids say, it's lit, family. It's lit. So good. So good. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's got what you need, man. It's I mean, I'm not good at all. I mean, they tweak the game engine every year. This year, whatever they did, I can't win a game to save my life. I've won exactly 1 game on just pro level against the computer. It's really frustrating. I can't say I put in a lot of hours in it. I mean, it came out over the weekend. I got it on Friday. I put in some hours over the weekend, and then I'll play like then I'll do like maybe an hour a day, and I just suck. I actually need to go into the practice gym and get my game up. Kyrie Irving is the poster boy. The funny thing is with 2K, there isn't like a cover jinx, but with Madden, there seems to always be like a Madden jinx. Everyone who's like on the cover of Madden football just has like a terrible season. So watch your back, Tom Brady. You're the cover boy this year. Madden 18. Anyways, it's a really fun game. I enjoy it. Still, there aren't any really still shots here, but yeah, it's really fun, and that's what I am playing / watching. Okay, so yeah, so let's get into it. Let's get into the oral history of CinemaDraft. It's not even really that special or interesting, if you ask me, but but basically, I had the idea for a fantasy sports like type of movie game like a while ago. I'm not saying like I didn't invent the wheel. I'm sure people have been doing this type of stuff forever, but basically my background, I graduated degrees in drama and English from Morehouse College. Did a year at DePaul Theater School, professional actor training program. So I was acting in plays and stuff. Eventually moved out to LA, or actually San Diego, LA-ish. Trying to break in the industry to be an actor, the whole BS modeling, background artist type thing. I used to actually sleep on G Nice's couch the fourth roommate or whatever for a stretch until I finally just raised stakes and got out of San Diego and just moved to LA proper. And eventually I sold a book. It was a romantic fiction novel, which I guess is redundant, or kind of not like a romance novel, but like relationship fiction. That's where I was looking for. Relationship fiction. I sold, had a 2-book deal at Random House, and getting in hustling to get that together while I was doing background, crosses and stuff on these sets. I ended up getting a manager. His name is Trevor Engelson. He actually, let me look up his IMDb while I talk set. He actually at the time he saw, well, he helped. He kind of helped. I mean, I really created all the heat, but he kind of helped close the deal with Random House, and I always wanted to screenwrite. I'd written a couple of scripts, whatever. Sold a script to Hill Harper. I mean, if you're black and like TV, you've seen Hill Harper, you know what I'm talking about. I think he was in He Got Game. He was I think the little point guard. He's been in like one of those CSIs. I mean, but this is all before that. I met him on a set. I was doing background crosses in City of Angels. Highlighted him after a shoot one day, had a script on hand, gave it to him. He liked it, he bought it. Diddy was going to option it, but it didn't go anywhere. So it was one of those stories that you hear about in Hollywood that something got either stuck in development hell or whatever. Well, it didn't even get to development hell. It's never got produced. But anyways, so I had some scripts I had worked on. That one small sale that optioned from Hill Harper, and but at this point I had management because I'd gotten that book deal. And in figuring out like what was next, my manager was like, why don't you, write this movie based on this one chapter in your book about Freaknik? And so that's when I roped in G Nice. I was like, hey, this makes it really fun. Why don't you write it with me? And we eventually, that was kind of like our calling card. We had a sale to Fox Searchlight. Tracy Edmonds had a production company at the time under there, and we worked on her with it. We didn't work on her. We worked on it with her for about 2.5 years until it never got produced. Now that is development hell. Anyways, so in writing that script, that spec script, and working with Trevor, a manager, I came up with a game for Fridays called Box Office Pimp. Terrible name, I know. But basically it wasn't even like a spreadsheet based game. It was just like it was guess. It was basically it was kind of like a close to the pin type game. Basically guess, how much these movies were going to make at the box office, and the person who got like closest to the actual amount in millions of dollars, whatever, would be like the points leader each week. For the life of me, I can't. I mean, I can't. I doubt if I could find it. If I can find box office pick, because I save everything. Actually, I think it was all in email. Oh, hold up. You know what? I do save everything. Box Office Pimp Summer 2003. This is awesome. All right, I'm going to do a screen share real quick. First of all, this is such a terrible, totally incorrect name, whatever. But anyways, Box Office Pimp Summer 2003. Let me share this with you. Here are the rules. $100 per player submitted at the end of season. The Box Office Pimp for the season wins the pot. The winter season consists of 13 week. Oh, I guess the season consists of 13 weekends, starting with the weekend of 6/6 through 8/29. All picks estimates must be in by 5 p.m. Pacific time of that Friday. Now, this is before Hollywood started doing all these stupid Thursday night release and stuff. So basically, you're still good to submit your stuff on Friday without any real information. And then so estimate the top 3 movies of a weekend in order plus corresponding grosses. 1 point per correct position, 5 points for correct order of all 3. 2 points each. 2 points each movie if within 10 million of their grosses. 14 points possible per weekend. Sounds kind of confusing, I know, but somehow we made it work. And yeah, and we had so it was me, Trevor, Nick was his partner, our other manager, and Justin. Justin, I think that was another client of his. Maybe, oh, it might have been someone else we knew. Anyways, we had a few people playing this for a while. I think we did it for about 2 or 3 years, maybe. Real simple game, but I've always been into like some sort of movie box office type of game, and actually gaming's always kind of been within me in me ever since I created this kind of monopoly meets the stock market knockoff called Stock Up back in 5th grade. I've always been kind of interested and fascinated by creating and making games. So anyway, so the germ of this idea started with Box Office Pimp way back in the early aughts. Flash forward to 2015, 2014, 2015, playing a lot of daily fantasy sports, which is a natural outgrowth from my poker playing background. I had a 4-year stint playing very small stakes professional poker and a lot of online poker. Wasn't very good. That's why I ended up. Well, I mean, I'm fine. I'm okay, but I wasn't good enough to sustain a living after a few years. So I was playing a lot of daily fantasy sports. I'm doing okay at it. Barely getting by, but really not enough to make a living. And I just kept thinking about how I really liked fancy version of the movies. I came close in 2000. What was it? 2010, I think. The Hollywood Stock Exchange, which was bought by Cantor Fitzgerald, which I believe is like an investment bank of some sort. They were all in on. No, the 2010, yeah, 2010. They were all in on the Hollywood Stock Exchange. 2009, 2010, something like that. And I was really excited about it. They're basically going to treat box office grosses like stocks, and you can basically bet on how much a movie was going to do each weekend. I was super excited about that. I created a website called jcmcinemacapital.com. I wonder if it's probably not up there. I'm just going to check anyways while we're talking. JCM Cinema Capital. I had a fake portfolio that was actually, what was it doing? Yeah, it's not there. But I had a fake portfolio, a test portfolio in anticipation of this game of being able to legally bet on the movies and movie grosses, and my portfolio was up like 57% in like 3 months, like that. So I was good. Like I was ready. And in one weekend with heat in a red state, fucking Blanche Lincoln from Arkansas just killed it. Just killed the whole thing. She was like the one deciding senator who, and she caved the pressure from the MPAA. Do not. I mean, the motion picture was basically the Academy. The Academy's lobbyist thugs out there in DC killed it because they didn't want anyone else making money off movies except for Hollywood, which is some bullshit. Anyway, so so along the way, my interest in a game based off the movies has been stoked. And flash forward to 2015, I'm playing a lot of daily fantasy sports, and I just keep looking around the landscape, and I don't see anyone doing what I had been thinking of. I'm like, fantasy sports is great. I'm having a great time. Where's the movie version of it? Why hasn't this been done? And so I huddle up with my friend and now advisor Anton Alferness. He's a serial entrepreneur out of Seattle. He actually is part of the Vices team, the people who made those new age helmets for the Seahawks and several other professional football teams and college football teams. I believe the Huskies as well. He's on that team, and he he'd done startups before. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, look, I've got this idea for this game. I think it's gonna be really fun. I think there could be a business in it. What should I do? And so he came down to my house, South Seattle, went up to the attic. Where I was holed up, with my little monitors and stuff, and I wouldn't say he tried to discourage me. I'm sure he'll say differently. He basically just kind of laid it all out there, all the stuff that you should do, and it sounds like a lot of work. It's an education. It really is. Because I've had a business before, but I've never done like a tech startup before, and definitely not a game before. So he's telling me all these things I need to do. He's like, and it's kind of making my eyes gloss over. I'm taking good notes, and I don't think he thought I would do any of it. And so what I end up, and so the biggest thing he told me was that I need to test out the game mechanics. See if you even have a viable game, if the way the game works even actually works. So he's like, it can be crap. You don't have to build a website. Just throw it onto a spreadsheet. And that is how our spreadsheet was born. Hold on, let's do another screen share. Yes, the vaunted spreadsheet. So basically what I did, I had a bunch of friends of mine, a few, not even a bunch really. I don't think we had more than 10 people at any one time. But yeah, this is how the spreadsheet was born. So let me see if I can unhide these. There we go. So I would set up a talent pool kind of like this each week with, I mean, it ended up growing as far as like stats and features, but it would be somewhat like this where I would have where I'd actually let's do this one. Here we go. This is Blake. Where I'd have all the movies that we're gonna do, and at the time I think I kept it to, was it 10 or 15, only because it's just, I mean, it's just me. There's only about 6 or 8 people playing, each week. We did offer cash prizes. I've been bribing y'all for ever since. And basically, we invited people to kind of test their box office knowledge. Jay Bird, one of our earlier adopters on CinemaDraft proper, was a stud in this game. And we used to have like seasons, and he'd won every season. And I had like about a year's worth of data by the time I was done with it. So for example, here's what the call sheet looked like. Here's what the call sheet looked like. And so you basically have to copy paste. I know it's just awful. You have to copy paste from the talent pool over into your actual call sheet, and then have to email it to me in time, and that's what we go off of. It was incredibly cumbersome. Several of my quote unquote friends did not play because you were either staring at too many spreadsheets each day, or it was too hard to get into. And I understand it's not nearly as beautiful or as elegant as our clunky little website at cinemadraft.co right now. But anyway, so this is what everyone would do, and I would hand score. I'd hand score all of them. It was only like 6 call sheets, 6 to 8 call sheets in any given week. And then we'd pay out the little prizes. I think we paid like first and second, or maybe I think it was just winner take all each week. But it was fun. We got a lot of data, and we refined some of our scoring and concepts over that course of the year. I came up with a headliner concept after a few weeks. I mean, it was a really cool deal. I will tell you that 2 weeks into, let's turn the camera on for this one. 2 weeks into my grand experiment, 2 weeks, I'm listening to one of my favorite podcasts at the time, a fantasy sports podcast, and the host, who shall not be named, announces that he had just launched a fantasy movie website, and I nearly drove off the road. I was hyperventilating. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! They've got the same idea. They stole my idea. I don't know how they knew they had the same idea. Oh my god, they got the same idea. They got to market first. And I was hyperventilating. And then when I got home, I went on the computer. I went to their site. I'm like, whew. It's nothing like our game. And their game, as pretty as it looks, because it's all, I mean, ours is professionally produced, but they have like full-time on-staff developers, and they've got funding. They got the megaphone of this guy who works at ESPN, all sorts of stuff. I mean, they got all these advantages that we don't have, but yet their game kind of sucks. It's kind of lame. And they don't give you a sweat over the weekend, and they definitely don't have a headliner concept, and you're basically just picking. You basically have like I'm not even explaining their game. Their game just sucks. Anyway, so once I saw that, I felt even more emboldened and confident to move forward ahead with the game. And after a year's worth of data, we got what they call in the business a friends and family round of financing that enabled me to get started on hiring some people to develop out the site. And it's been rocky. I won't lie. It's been very challenging. Definitely the most challenging thing I've undertaken in my life. And you're talking about a guy who has been a published author, who sold real estate right in the height of the real estate bubble in LA, who was a bartender, who did background crosses for like 2 years before getting a book deal, whose book came out on 9/11 and subsequently lost his most of part of his book tour after. I've had some challenges, but this has definitely been one of the most challenging endeavors I've undertaken. We've spent 12 consecutive months out there trying to get seed funding together, raising awareness, and getting more players in the game. And so that's why I just wanted to share with you a little bit the oral history of the origins of CinemaDraft, because I really do appreciate each and every one of you who play, who participate in the group chat, who like or retweet stuff, but especially you players. I mean, you players, you've given us a lot of great data. You've helped me think about ways to make the game even better. I've got a very long spreadsheet full of all sorts of great ideas on how to make the game better once you get funded, and it's been fun. There's been a camaraderie. We even have a fantasy football league, the CinemaDraft Fantasy Football League. Your boy, the cultural cul-de-sacs, the cultural cul-de-sac. And it's been great. So I really appreciate your support. Keep it up. Tell all your friends. Let's keep people coming out to this game. And one of these days, we're gonna get the funding we need to build the site into what we know it can be, and that is the equivalent of the DraftKings of Hollywood. Because I believe in this game. Damn it, it's fun. I have even more ideas on how to make it even more unique and challenging and interesting. And yeah, and with all that said, let's get to it. Let's get to the shot list this week, y'all. Or actually, not so much the shot list. We're just gonna go into. Here we go. Well, I guess technically it's the shot list, but we're gonna go over. We're gonna create in real time a call sheet, and this is the new talent pool this week. Kind of glossed over it a little bit on Tuesday's pod. But now we're going to put our knowledge into action. And actually, let's do this. Let's go over to, there we go. Okay. That's old news. All right. And actually, so I can get a better, okay, that's right. We'll do this. All right. So let me refresh to make sure everything's up to date. Okay, good. All right. So we're going to click over here on call sheets. I've already got my placeholder call sheets up. And we're going to fill out one for the background talent. We're going to delete this so we can start fresh. Okay. All right, let's get into it. Let's draft the call sheet. Now, what do we have to keep in mind going this week? Now, it has been on a tear. It has been, what did it do last week? It did 60.1 million last week. It's on a tear. I used to actually have a thing that showed like the gross from last week, but we don't do that on this anymore. But yeah, so it's been on a tear. I'm very even if it loses another 50% of box office, that still puts it in the 30 million. So it is going to be a factor. But we cannot discount Kingsman: The Golden Circle. That suck. I mean, it's exciting. It's action. Like the newsletter says, action never goes out of style. Let's see, Kingsman. Let's see what they're saying. 44.25 million opening weekend. Okay, so it's definitely going to surpass it this weekend. But what we have to wonder about is what combination is going to work best for us this weekend? Because look at this. So let me move this over here. So not only do you have to contend with it in its third weekend going strong, we also contend with the Lego Ninjago movie, which now I'm sure the Lego movies are good. I will get around to them someday. Sorry, Chris Miller, Lakeside Class of '93, but I'm not really checking for it. But apparently other people are, because you look up Ninjago on HSX. It gives you 44.62, so it's like a dead heat between Kingsman and Lego. Okay, so the question we have to ask is it even worth, rostering it this weekend? I mean, what combination is going to work for us? So let's take a look at these salaries. These salaries are all in the same neighborhood. I mean, it's kind of like a Sophie's choice. I'm tempted to kind of hedge my bets and do maybe a headliner of each. See what that looks like. So let's get the cheaper of the two headliners. All right. Okay, so that leaves us 59,500, which isn't bad. So now, how much does it cost? So it is 16.7. So we can get us another headliner. All right, so that's not bad. We're looking pretty good so far. So 42,800 left. That's about 42,800 divided by 7 slots left. That's 6,100 left per slot. Can we slide in another it? Okay, now we're 26 divided by 6 is not going to work. Okay, so we can't do another it. All right, so this looks like this is going to be your core. It looks like these three wide releases. Some of you might actually. I mean, I honestly can't call. I actually think Kingsman is going to do better than Kingsman's going to do better than the Ninjago movie, but you never know. I don't want to miss out. I have extreme FOMO, fear of missing out, so I'm just going to do one of each plus an it headliner, and this I believe forms your core. So where do we go from here? All right, so now we have to ask ourselves of what's available, and we're just going to cheat now and go to. Well, it's not even cheating. You guys actually have access to this. This you can actually access the grid, the beloved spreadsheet. You can actually access from our blog, Medium, medium.com/@CinemaDraft. Oop, here we go. And just go down to determine results for this week and view the new talent pool here. Just click on that, and that'll take you to the grid. Boikasha! All right. So when I'm looking at the talent pool, especially in grid form, I'm trying to think. I'm thinking of replacement value, and of course, I've been really big on replacement value lately. And that's just me thinking about like what relative to the next available actor and movie, what is going to give me the most? What is going to give me the most marginal amount? What's going to give me the most marginal amount of points for the replacement value actor for a slot on my call sheet? So if you take a generic actor from a movie that I want to add to my call sheet, what is their replacement value? So once I set replacement value roughly in my head, I kind of work off from there. So replacement value of an actor on my call sheet with basically on average 6,100 in salary per slot. I'm thinking going off of what's out there, what we can afford, it might be 6 or 7 points. And I say that because the only thing that's really making any money this weekend outside of these might either be Stronger, the Jake Gyllenhaal movie, or Friend Request. So let's look these up real quick on hsx.com. Let's go with Friend Request first. Oh my gosh, 4 million opening weekend. Now remember, on hsx.com, each dollar in price translates to $1 million in box office. So that's pretty low. So that's at wide release at 1 point per million per actor. That's only 4 points. We don't want that. We need more. So what about Stronger, which I think actually might be even less? So they don't even have an opening derivative for it. So they think the whole thing might only make 5 million, which is interesting because so now it says, so I saw somewhere that it was going to be a wide release. Now they're showing it's limited. Man, I don't how many. I mean, do we have an update on the screens yet? We do not. All right, so don't be surprised if Stronger changes from wide to limited, because the other site I consult to get an idea of box office releases is the-numbers.com. And when you go to release schedule, they generally show you what's coming out. And for the 22nd, they had Oh, they did. Oh, yeah, it's stronger. And it says wide, so I don't know what to believe anymore. And then I don't know if they're wide now. Their definition of wide might be different than ours, because obviously for the game, a wide release is 2,000 screens and up. Limited release 501 to 1999 screens, and platform release 500 screens and below. So their definition might be a little bit different. Um, so I guess we'll find out come Thursday. Okay, so obviously Stronger isn't a great candidate for replacement value if we're looking for uh, 5 or 6 points. We might have to go with friend request. Nothing else out here is really jumping at me to get us 5 or 6 points. Battle of the Sexes, it's only on 20 screens. I think it's going to do really well. It's got, really big star power, Emma Stone and Steve Carell. But let's say best case scenario, it does 50,000 per screen. Oh shit! Actually, that's really good. Hold on. What in the realm of possibility could it do? Let me think. All right. What if it did 25,000 per screen times 20 screens? Wow, 500,000. Yo, I might just talk myself into Battle of the Sexes. This let's just double check that screen count real quick. I feel like I've stumbled onto some found money here. Yeah, 20 screens. Hmm. I wonder, will that Battle of the Sexes, will that show up on HSX? Yeah, no derivative, but they think you'll do 15 million total. I don't know, y'all. I think I'm gonna rock with Battle of the Sexes a little bit. Do we? And it's not quite Wednesday yet, so I don't think our friends over at Box Office Pro have their projections up. They usually wait till Wednesday. Yeah, they don't have anything yet. Yeah, so let's take a look at Battle of the Sexes. I think it's pretty affordable. Okay, yeah, 6,500 for headliners. So let's do it. And since it's so cheap, let's just load it up. And when you're loading up, make sure you go cheapest to most expensive. Oh, wow. All right, and 7,600 left over for a limited release. See how that works, y'all? All right. So now I need a limited release. And what is calling us in this category? Or in this release type? Well, we actually, now that I've given you guys the grid, let's use the grid. So limited release, bit of a dumpster fire. Leap, we're estimating should be limited release. Actually, did it say anything? It did not. Pretty sure. Oh, actually, oh, wow. Okay, so I forgot about Brad's status. Damn. So Brad's status is going to 450 screens. That's a bit of a game changer because it doesn't really need a lot to get us that replacement value of 6 or so points. So let's go back. I totally forgot about Brad's stats. 450 is at the top end of platform release. So even if it does only 1,000 per screen, which is really low for a new opener, that's 450,000 or 4.5 points. Something like Brad's status. Actually, let's see what they did last weekend and see if we can divine anything on our. Because you know how I love me some per theater average. Look at so per theater average 22,000 per screen. Let's say it does 8,000 per screen. Oh, that's kind of high. Let's say it does 7,500 per screen times 450 screens. Whoa. Okay, that's 3.3 million. Okay, so even if you lower your expectation to 5,000 per screen times 450, 2.25 million. All right, so scratch all that. Record scratch. All right, so sorry. Battle of the Sexes, it was a good idea, but we are all over Brad's status because it is just too big to ignore. Oh shit! And you know what? I had a feeling. Okay, so I priced this accordingly. So we can't go nuts with Brad's status. It's a little bit too expensive. We could probably squeeze out a headliner stack if we're lucky. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Damn. All right, we can't even really do that because then you're left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because then you're left with 5 slots, and less than the minimum price in order to fill them. Damn it! So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do one headliner. Actually, we're going to do the cheaper of the two headliners, Martin Sheen. And then we're going to do the cheaper of Brad Status, the cheapest non-headliner. Perfect. So that leaves us 5,000, and on average, 5,000 each for these last 5 slots. Oh man! So what can 5,000 get us? The pickings are going to be real slim. Oh, okay. So it could be worse, I think. All right. So here we go. So let's do lowest to highest. Okay, here we go. So the King's Choice is interesting only because I believe King's Choice. Actually, that's not interesting. It's only on 4 screens. Never mind. Scratch that. We want to get Battle of the Sexes in there, but I don't think we can really afford it. Let's look at Because of Gracia did nothing last week. Beach Rats. What did Beach Rats do? Beach Rats did. Yeah, min score less than 100,000. So that's not going to get us what we need either. Let's look for Dark Tower. Ugh. The Emoji Movie might be our obligatory limited release punt. Let's just lock that in right now. Okay, so that still leaves us, all right. So yeah, so still about average of 5,000, 5,100 for 4 slots. Let's see what else is out there. Rebel in the Ride, no, they did not perform. Man, so yeah, so actually, there's really not. I mean, if we're gonna do this construction, we really have to punt almost the entire rest of our call sheet in order to make this work. But you know what? It might be worth it. Like seriously, because if this thing does 2 million, I mean, at 1 point per 100,000 in platform release, you're looking at 20 fantasy points each, and then for the headliner, 20 times. And honestly, there is a case to be made. Oh man, this is kind of radical, but there's a case to be made that instead of it, I might just do more. Yeah, you know what? I think we're gonna do this, y'all. Let's do this. Let's do Brad. There we go. Let's do this. Let's get that other headliner in there. And then I think 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we can even slide in another cheapie. There, 1, 2, 3. Can we do one more? Oh my goodness! Wow. Please tell me this math is right. Okay, I think we're onto something here. So if we totally punt the limited release type right here, Emoji Movie, then you can fit in 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5-pack of Brad Status, a headliner each from both Kingsman, the Golden Circle, and Lego Ninjago Movie. And then you can, oh wow, we're actually gonna make this, and then Battle the Sexes, battle, or maybe not. Oh, actually, let's. Yeah, then the Battle of the Sexes, and then we're just doing a pure punt for the last slot. Let's just do it by salary. Actually, can we get some Wind River? Wind River might have a little kick in it left. Let's do 5,200. Let's go first. Yeah, so Loving Vincent. These are all too small. What about? I really don't believe you, Dark Tower. All Saints actually could slip into, but All Saints is drawing flies. What about Logan Lucky is going to be too wide a release. At limited release, it made min score. It didn't even make 500,000. So we want to avoid that. The Tiger Hunter is interesting. It's going to be on 43 screens. I hand counted them. It's kind of a foreign focused film. Maybe stars Danny Pudi from Putty from Community. Can we get 150-200? We can. Let's slide Anand Desai Boroshia up in there. And I think that is our call sheet. Boom. You know what, y'all? I kind of like this call sheet. It might actually stand. So there I go, giving away game for free. Click submit. Wait a few seconds to see the confirmation. There we go. Boikasha! There you go. So that's my call sheet for the background talent. Of course, it is subject to change once we get more information a little bit later on in the week. But yeah, I'm feeling really good about that call sheet. So you see how that actually is a really good example of the way I kind of stumble onto and discover my strategies as I'm putting together call sheets. I mean, and most likely my strategy will change once we get the numbers in from Box Office Pro, but I really think some sort of core of the two new wide openers, the Lego Ninjago movie and Kingsman: The Golden Circle, with a mix of Brad status, or there might be some people out there who might just do a max stack of Brad status. That might be interesting to see. I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting to see what the projections are. So that's pretty much gonna do it this week, everybody. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Share the backstory of CinemaDraft with you and everything. And you know that now that some of us have our movie pass, our movie pass cards. You know what to do, everybody. Why don't you go see a movie or something?